Ever pondered how your eyes can deceive you? Welcome to the mesmerizing world of optical illusions. Let's embark on a journey that will take us through the fascinating realm of perception and illusion. Now, optical illusions are not merely fun images designed to trick your eyes. They're much more than that. They are a testament to the incredible complexity of our brains, revealing the intricate and sometimes flawed ways in which we perceive the world around us. Imagine this. You're looking at an image, a static image. Not a single pixel is moving, yet you could swear it's swirling, shifting, alive. This, my friends, is the power and mystery of optical illusions. You see, our brains are incredibly efficient information processors, constantly interpreting signals from our senses to create a coherent picture of reality. But sometimes this process can be led astray. When the information our eyes feed to our brains doesn't match up with what we expect to see, our brains fill in the gaps, often in surprising and unexpected ways. This dance between expectation and reality is the crux of optical illusions. They exploit the shortcuts our brains take when processing visual information, leading us to perceive things that aren't really there. This is why static images can appear to move, or why straight lines can seem to bend. Take a moment and let that sink in. The world as we perceive it is not always as it seems. It's molded by our brains, shaped by our expectations and experiences. And sometimes, it's those very expectations that can lead us astray, casting illusions where there is only reality. But don't fret. This doesn't mean we're all living in a grand illusion. Instead, it means our perception of the world is a creative, active process, one that can sometimes be fooled, but more often than not, serves us remarkably well. Isn't it fascinating how a still image can create the illusion of movement? But hold on, we're just getting started. Now, prepare to delve into the realm of concealed images. Get ready to be astonished as we uncover a world where things aren't always what they seem at first glance. We're about to explore the intriguing concept of hidden images within illusions. These captivating images are a wonderful blend of art and psychology, designed to trick your brain into seeing something that may not be immediately obvious. You see, our brains are wired to recognize familiar shapes and patterns. Thus, when presented with an image, our eyes automatically seek out what's familiar, often overlooking the hidden elements. Let's consider a simple example. Picture a serene landscape with rolling hills, towering trees, and a beautiful river flowing in the middle. It's a lovely scene, isn't it? But what if I told you there's more to this picture than meets the eye? Somewhere within this peaceful landscape, there's another image concealed, waiting to be discovered. So, how do we view it correctly? The secret lies in relaxing your eyes and letting your mind wander. Try not to focus too intently on any one part of the image. Instead, let your eyes roam freely across the picture, allowing the hidden image to gradually come into focus. It's a bit like looking at one of those magic eye pictures, where the image suddenly pops out at you when you least expect it. This technique is known as divergent thinking, a cognitive process where we generate creative ideas by exploring many possible solutions. In this case, we're applying divergent thinking to visual perception, encouraging our brains to see beyond the obvious and discover the hidden. It's a fascinating exercise that not only tests your perception but also your patience. It's like a riddle for your eyes, a puzzle that promises a delightful surprise when solved. So, did you manage to spot the hidden image? Well, don't worry if you didn't, we're just warming up. Remember, the beauty of these illusions lies in the journey of discovery, not just the destination. So keep practicing, and soon you'll be spotting hidden images like a pro. Scene script. Next up, we're going to explore how colors can play tricks on your eyes. Let's delve into the world of color perception. It's a fascinating fact that our perception of color isn't always a faithful representation of reality. It can be influenced, manipulated even, by surrounding colors. This phenomenon is called color constancy. To illustrate, imagine a blue square placed on a white background. Your brain tells you it's blue, but what happens when we change the background to, say, a darker blue? Some might argue that the square appears lighter, perhaps even turquoise. But here's the kicker. The color of the square hasn't changed one iota. It's the same blue it was on the white background. So, what's going on here? It's a little trick your brain plays, adjusting your perception of the square's color in relation to its new surroundings. A darker background makes the square seem lighter in comparison, even though its actual color remains unaltered. Think about it this way. Your brain is like a painter, always mixing and matching colors to create the perfect image. The hues of the surrounding environment act as the palette from which your brain draws its colors, subtly shifting your perception to maintain a consistent image. It's a survival mechanism, really. Our ancestors needed to recognize color consistency for survival. They needed to know that the green leaves they ate yesterday were the same green leaves they were seeing today, regardless of the lighting conditions. This color constancy is a testament to the complexity and adaptability of our visual system. It's a beautiful deception, a trick of the light, a dance of colors playing out right before your eyes. So the next time you're marveling at a sunset or admiring a painting, remember the illusion of color. Remember the tricks your eyes and brain play to make sense of the world. Isn't it astounding how our perception of color can be easily manipulated? But don't blink just yet. We have more in store for you. Ever wondered how size and distance can distort our perception? Well, you're about to find out. Let's dive headfirst into the fascinating world of size and distance illusions. These illusions are a true testament to how our brains interpret what our eyes see, often leading to intriguing and sometimes baffling results. Imagine two identical circles placed at different distances. The one that's further away will appear smaller, right? But hold on a minute, they're the same size. This is a classic example of size-distance illusions, where our brain struggles to accurately perceive the size of objects at different distances. Now, let's consider another scenario. Picture two identical objects, one surrounded by large objects and the other by smaller ones. Your brain automatically assumes that the one surrounded by large objects is smaller, and the one surrounded by smaller objects is larger. This phenomenon is known as the Ebbinghaus illusion, a prime example of relative size perception. But why does this happen? Well, it's all about how our brains process visual information. Our brains use visual cues like the size of surrounding objects and the perceived distance to interpret the size of an object. And sometimes these cues can trick our brains into seeing things that aren't really there. From the moon illusion, where the moon appears larger on the horizon than when it's high in the sky, to the Ponzo illusion, where two identical lines appear different in length due to converging lines, these size and distance illusions demonstrate how our perception can be easily manipulated. So next time you're looking at something, remember, your eyes might be playing tricks on you. What you see isn't always what you get. Our perception is a complex process influenced by numerous factors, and it's not always accurate. Aren't these illusions mind-boggling? But wait, there's more. And now, for the grand finale, let's delve into the world of impossible objects. Just when you think you've got a handle on this reality of ours, impossible objects come along and flip everything on its head. These are the optical illusions that defy our understanding of the physical world, bending the laws of physics and making the impossible seem possible. Take, for example, the Penrose triangle. It's a simple drawing, yet it presents an object that could never exist in three-dimensional space. From one perspective, it appears to be a perfectly normal triangle. But as your gaze follows the lines, you find they loop back on themselves in a way that's utterly impossible. The triangle both is and isn't there. It's a paradox, a conundrum, a veritable brain boggler. Then there's the Devil's Fork, another classic. It begins as a three-pronged fork, but somehow ends as two. Try to imagine picking it up and using it. You can't, can you? It's another instance of the impossible made to look possible. These impossible objects are a testament to the power of perspective. They show us that our brains, for all their complexity, can be tricked. We are used to living in a world with three dimensions. We understand up and down, left and right, forward and backward. But when something comes along that doesn't fit into our understanding, our brain tries to make sense of it, often leading to these impossible perceptions. And it's not just about tricking the brain. Impossible objects serve to remind us that there are limits to our understanding, that there are mysteries still to be solved. They challenge us to look beyond what we think we know, to question and to wonder. And with that, we conclude our journey through the labyrinth of optical illusions. Remember, nothing is ever as it seems.